Things I don't know. I don't know how to spell mountain, or business, or especially. I do the flashcards over and over, and I never get those ones right. I don't know how to subtract without a pencil. I don't know Mom's cell phone number without looking it up, even though I call it all the time. I don't know the name of Dad's company he works for. I stopped asking because he rolls his eyes every time I ask and says, "Albie, I told you," but I never remember. I don't know how many nickels are in a dollar or how many dimes. Darren Ackelman says everybody learned that in first grade. Somehow, I didn't. I don't know the capital of Arkansas, and I don't care. Arkansas should go learn its own capital. I don't know the best way to make a model volcano or what it feels like to get your science fair project picked to go to the gym for parents' night. I don't know how anybody could like Johnny Tremaine. I don't know how to make my dad smile when he looks at my report card instead of clenching his jaw tight. I don't know how to make Mom stop worrying so much about me, even though she says she doesn't. I don't know why I'm always screwing up at everything, even when I try so hard all the time not to. I'd do better if I could. I really would, but I don't know how. There are a lot of things I don't know. Donut days. Thursday night, me and Callista studied and studied with the flashcards. 5. That was the most words I could get right at once. 5 was not perfect. After I took a shower and was in my pajamas, I told Callista I was coming down with the flu, but I could tell she didn't believe me. "You didn't have the flu 30 minutes ago when we were eating dinner." "It came on all of a sudden," I explained. She crinkled her mouth up and peeled the Johnny Tremaine title off the old Captain Underpants I already finished and stuck it to the new one. "This flu wouldn't have anything to do with your spelling test tomorrow, would it?" I shook my head. "I feel really sick," I said, which was true. Every time I thought about that spelling test and not getting all 10 words 100% perfect, I felt sick, right in my stomach. It would be better if I just stayed home. She put her hand on my forehead. "You're not warm," she said slowly. She studied my face carefully. "Well, I guess we'll know if you're really sick if you start to feel sharp pains on the left side of your ribs. That's usually the first sign of the flu." I was just moving my hand over to see if I had sharp pains there, where Callista said, when I saw the look on her face, and I stopped. "Is that really true?" I asked her. She rolled her eyes. "No," she told me. I moved my hand away. "Then my ribs don't hurt at all." "Albie." Callista sat down on the bed and patted the bedspread for me to sit down next to her. I sat. She looked at me for a long time, but she didn't say anything, which was weird. Then she got up and left the room. I stayed put. I didn't know what else to do. When she came back, she was carrying her blue backpack. She sat down and pulled out a handful of papers, all sorts. Some on thick paper, and some that looked like they were ripped out of her sketchbook because they had crinkled edges on the side. She looked through them and then handed me one. I looked at it carefully. It was covered in drawings, all of them done with a pencil. They were all of people, some sitting up, some standing, some lying down. They looked realistic, not like the cartoon people she was helping me draw. Lots of them were just parts, elbows floating next to a pair of crossed legs, and next to that 3 pairs of feet. Hands were everywhere, open, holding presents, scrunched up like a fist. Some of the pictures were scribbled over, like they were started and then given up halfway through. "You did these?" I asked Callista. She nodded, but she was still flipping through her mess of papers. "For my drawing class," she said. She glanced over at the paper in my hands. "Look," she told me, "right there." She tapped a bright blue sticky note stuck to the top of the paper. "That's from my teacher, Professor Milton." I read what was on the sticky note. "Lacks perspective." I didn't know what that meant, but I could tell by the way Callista had her mouth scrunched up while she looked at it that it wasn't a good thing. "Here's another one." She handed me another paper of sketches. The sticky note on top of that one said, "Blocky." Callista gave me another paper, then another after that, and another, and another. They all had sticky notes on them. "Loose lines, no movement, stiff. Draw what you see. Are you even trying?" "I hate Professor Milton," Callista told me when I was finished reading all the sticky notes. I looked up at her. You do? That surprised me, I guess, because I couldn't really imagine Callista hating anything, but I thought I might hate someone too if they wrote sticky notes like that to me. Yep, she said, but I still go to class every week because I have to. I was starting to see where this was going. And you don't ever get the flu? I asked her. I was pretty sure I already knew the answer, though. She shook her head. You know what I do instead? I didn't answer because I didn't know what she did. I found a soft serve place, she said, right by the school. Tasty Delight. The one you told me about, remember? I remembered. And then I tell myself that every Tuesday afternoon after class is over, I get to stop there and have some ice cream. With sprinkles? I asked, because I knew that Callista liked sprinkles. Lots of sprinkles, she said. That doesn't sound too bad. Right. So now, when I wake up on Tuesday mornings, instead of thinking, ugh, I have to go to Professor Milton's class today, I try to think, hey, I get ice cream after class today. I squinted one eye at her. And that works? I asked. You never feel like getting the flu? Callista nodded. Most of the time I don't. I thought about that. Can tomorrow be an ice cream day for me? I asked. Callista handed me Johnny Treeface, not Captain Underpants. I think it needs to be. Okay, I said, but instead of ice cream, can it be donuts? Because I like donuts better. I'll make sure we get some when I pick you up, she said. Can we go to the bakery on 78th Street? They have the best donuts, even better than the ones at the bodega. Sounds perfect. But it's all the way up on 78th Street, though. That's far. Not too far for donut day. Now, get some sleep. All right, Albie? Good night. Night, Callista. Donuts, I thought. After I was done with my reading and turned off my lamp, donuts. Every once in a while, that spelling test would sneak back into my brain, but mostly Callista was right. It was way better to look forward to a donut day than a spelling test.